Kendra and I are today making bread. We're going to use her Wonder Mill wheat grinder today. This one can actually do pastry, bread, and coarse, so you can make some cereal with this. You do need to turn it on before you load it with the wheat. And then you cannot turn it off until it's empty and you hear this kind of high-pitched whistle, I guess you might say. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on before. You can hear it. It's not very loud. We've got a baby asleep in a crib, and we're doing just fine. We're going to grind enough to make about 8 loaves today. It's pretty easy. It's about 12 cups of hard wheat. We prefer hard white wheat. So we're going to let this grind, and we'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. Today we're making whole wheat bread with a Bosch mixer. We've already ground our hard white wheat. I have made these little jars with labels so I can just pull them out of the fridge. It's yeast, instant milk, sea salt, wheat gluten, and dough enhancer. And then all I have to do is scoop 2 tablespoons of each one of these. I've already put 6 cups of warm water, and I just start dumping my 2 tablespoons. That was yeast, instant milk, salt, wheat gluten. You notice I'm a dumper. And that was dough enhancer. Now we're going to do 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. This is Kendra's hint. It keeps your bread from becoming crumbly. It really works. And we're going to do olive oil, which is about 2/3 of a cup. I'm not going to measure honey. I'm kind of lazy. I usually do about a cup, 3/4 to a cup. We're going to put about 14 cups. So here we go, 2, 4, and I do about 6 cups. And then I mix it. I know you'll see numbers, turn it to 1, 2, and all that. Well, I don't do that. I basically just start mixing it. So then it's flying all over my kitchen. I just want to show you the trick of making bread. It's not hard. People think it's really hard. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. The main thing we want to do is not to put too much flour, but put enough that it pulls the dough away from the sides of the bowl. So that's on number 1. You can do whatever you want. I just make it so it doesn't fly out into my kitchen or on me. You can kind of hear it little, so then you know you've got to turn it up to 3. Okay, I know that it needs more. No, it doesn't. You can see, let me just show you this. See, it's starting to mix. You never know how much flour you're going to use because it all depends on the temperature, the humidity. You can see that it's pulling away from the sides of the bowl, so I know it's in really good. That's just enough dough. I'm not going to add more, but I'm going to let this run about 10 minutes. It won't hurt the Bosch. These are extremely heavy-duty machines. You can also do it by hand. I mean, I grew up making bread that way. I saved my money from not purchasing bread to buy a Bosch. So we're going to let this mix for 10 minutes, and then we'll show you how to put it in pans. Okay, now we're pulling the dough out. I've already pulled the beaters out. I'm basically going to put it like in a mound. I'm going to kind of hit it to get all the air bubbles out. And then I just basically take, I kind of know how much 1 pound is. These are about 1.5 pound pans. Kendra has a big family. I do 1 pound loaves. One thing I want to tell you is make sure you put an effort into what you pay for your bread pans. Because I've had these for probably, I bet you 15 years, and they still look like new. So my point is this, don't skim on your bread pans. Now I'm going to make one a little bit bigger. want to keep your dough wet. Before I put the cover on to let it rise, the problem is if this is dry, you're going to get a split loaf. Another hint you're going to want to know is that the day needs to be sunny. I don't know if that's an old wives' tale or if it's a Linda tale, but I won't make bread if it's overcast, because my bread will not rise. I don't know why, but that's how it is. Okay, we're going to take this bread and we're going to cover it with saran wrap that's been greased, because we don't want our bread to dry out. You can see how I did that. I just kind of roll it. And if I think, oh, that doesn't seem quite big enough, I kind of just go like this. I think we're going to have just enough. So what we're going to do is cut these two in half and cut this one in half. And I can feel that it's starting to dry out, so I'm trying to hurry. And if it's too dry, I'm going to spray the counter with some Pan or off-brand, whatever. Some people would use grease. I just do this, kind of do the corners in, and it's really easy. See, it started getting dry. See how it started to split? I'm just going to kind of do this. And it is still starting to split a bit, but it'll work. So I'm going to put it where that Pan is. Do the third thing. That's it. It's starting to dry. Okay, now you can take a spritz of water and spritz it, because you do not want it to dry out. And it is starting to dry out. I might have put a tad bit of too much whole wheat. That's okay. It still works out. We're going to let this rise, and then we're going to bake it.
All right, so my bread is risen enough, and I'm going to go ahead and take it and put it into the oven on 350 for about 30 to 40 minutes. Linda does hers for 27 minutes. They're in the 1 pound loaf pans, and mine are in a 1.5 pound loaf pan. So it takes a little bit longer, about 35 minutes. Okay, so the bread is done. It took 35 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and pull it out, and always dump it out right when you get it out. How pretty it looks. And I usually take a little brush and brush the top with butter. Make it look all nice and shiny. There you go. That's how you make bread from start to finish.